Tana Umaga is stepping into the spotlight, and he's got some serious thoughts on the All Blacks in different form in 2024. With Scott Barrett leading the charge as captain and Umaga, the former captain and now head coach of Moana Pacifica, sharing his insights, it's clear that there's more than meets the eye when it comes to our beloved team. Since Scott Robertson took the reins at the start of the year, the All Blacks have found themselves grappling to maintain their usually high standards. Sure, they kicked off their international campaign with a 2-0 series win over England, but those victories didn't come easy. We're talking nail-biting wins of 16-15 and 24-17 in Dunedin and Auckland, respectively. If you're a fan of the All Blacks, right, go All Blacks in the comments. Then they headed to San Diego and delivered an impressive 47-5 beatdown on Fiji, showcasing some flash and flair. But hold on, things quickly took a turn for the worse when they faced Argentina in their opening Rugby Championship match in Wellington. That loss was a real shocker, leaving fans reeling. They did bounce back with a convincing win against Los Pumas in Auckland, but just when we thought they were back on track, they suffered back-to-back defeats against their arch-rivals, the Springboks, in Johannesburg and Cape Town. Ouch! After wrapping up their campaign with 2 hard-fought wins against the Wallabies, they finished second in the Rugby Championship, marking the worst performance in recent years. Just think about it. They dominated the tournament for 4 years straight from 2020 to 2023. Now, as we look ahead to their year-end tour in Japan and Europe, the jury is still out on whether they can find their groove again. It's a real roller coaster ride for the fans. One big issue during the Rugby Championship was the All Blacks' inability to score in the final quarter of games. It was a frustrating sight for fans as they failed to find the try line in the last 20 minutes of their first 5 matches, finally breaking that trend against the Wallabies. You could feel the tension in the air as fans held their breath, hoping for that last-minute surge of magic. Umaga, who captained the All Blacks back in 2004 and 2005, is understandably hesitant to talk about his former team struggles. He gets it. He knows how tough it can be for the current squad. "I try not to talk about it," he shared with New Zealand radio station Life FM. "I know what it's like on the other side. Since the 2023 Rugby World Cup, New Zealand has lost some key veterans like Sam Whitelock, Aaron Smith, Brodie Retallick, Dane Coles, and Richie Amonga. That's a massive hit to the squad." Umaga believes that losing that much experience all at once has played a huge role in their struggles this year. "You can't underestimate the impact of experience," he said, acknowledging the void left by those players. When he was asked about his leadership style and how to get everyone on the same page, Umaga kept it simple. "It's about purpose. Why are we here? As All Blacks, it's straightforward. We're here to defend the black jersey and honor those who came before us. It's about understanding that our actions and behaviors need to reflect that. If you're not holding to those standards and your leaders aren't keeping you accountable, that's not the level we expect here." Umaga made it clear that the current group has really lost a lot of leadership in the last year, and it's something they need to address. Robertson, who took over after guiding the Crusaders to 7 straight Super Rugby titles, is finding that coaching the All Blacks is a different ballgame altogether. "I'm sure Scott Robertson is realizing it's a bit different from Super Rugby," Umaga said, emphasizing the significant gap between the levels of play. The jump from NPC National Provincial Championship to Super Rugby, and from Super Rugby to the international stage, is steeper than many might think. For years, New Zealand has set the standard in global rugby, but Umaga admitted that those days are starting to fade. "As an All Black and as a fan, I want them to succeed. We expect them to win all the time," he said. But that's not the reality anymore. Teams are catching up and, in some cases, surpassing them. "It's concerning," he added, noting that while other teams are closing the gap, some are even starting to pull ahead. Umaga emphasized that there's no magic formula to the All Black success. "It's just something you live and breathe. It's in your DNA. You grew up playing this game," he said. "But now, with all our training and knowledge, there are no more secrets." He challenged everyone to think about how they can evolve and not just catch up, but surpass their competition. This philosophy applies not only to rugby but to life in general. First off, let's talk about Scott Robertson. This guy has shown some serious commitment to developing young talent, and Tupou Vaa'i is the perfect example. Laurie Mains, the former All Blacks boss, has praised Robertson for his persistence with Vaa'i during the Rugby Championship. Can you believe that Vaa'i made his international debut 4 years ago at just 20? Fast forward to today, and he's racked up over 30 caps for the national team. It's wild to think about how much he's grown, especially considering that most of those appearances were from the bench while he waited behind established stars like Brodie Retallick, Sam Whitelock, and Scott Barrett. But guess what? With Retallick and Whitelock stepping away from the test scene, Vaa'i has finally been given his moment to shine, and he's absolutely grasped that opportunity. At just 24 years old, he's still got a ton of potential ahead of him, and Mains has noticed a significant transformation in his game. Initially, Mains admitted he wasn't too keen on Vaa'i, but he's been blown away by how much better the young lock has become under Robertson's mentorship. I take my hat off to Scott Robertson for persisting with him even when things weren't going his way, Mains said. That's a powerful endorsement, right? And it's not just Vaa'i who's been turning heads. Let's give a shout out to Cortez Radama. This scrum half has been making waves with his energetic performances during the Rugby Championship. Mains highlighted how Radama's presence changed the game against the Wallabies, with quicker ball clearance and a more dynamic playing style. It's like he injected new life into the team, and we can't overlook Will Jordan. Seeing him back at his best after injury has been fantastic. Mains described him as a player who creates something out of nothing, and honestly, he's a joy to watch on the field. Now, let's discuss the All Blacks' journey through the Rugby Championship. They didn't have the best start, suffering 3 defeats in their first 4 games, which left some fans a bit anxious. But here's the turnaround. They came back to retain the Bledisloe Cup and followed that up with a crucial win against the Wallabies. Mains is feeling optimistic as the All Blacks gear up for their Northern Hemisphere tour, noting 2 significant improvements in their play. First, they tightened up their defensive patterns, which had been a bit leaky in previous matches. And second, they showed a new maturity in their gameplay, avoiding those senseless kicks that allowed opponents to control the game. Instead, they kept the pressure on Australia, making it tough for them to score, especially in the second half. To wrap it all up, Scott Robertson's faith in Tupou Vaa'i is starting to pay dividends, with the young lock proving he belongs on the international stage. Plus, players like Cortez Radama and Will Jordan are stepping up, bringing energy and excitement to the squad. Despite a rocky start, the All Blacks are looking strong and ready to tackle whatever comes next. So, if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. You won't want to miss any of the latest All Blacks news and updates as we follow their journey. What are your thoughts on Scott Robertson's coaching style and the emergence of Tupou Vaa'i? I'd love to hear your opinions, so drop a comment below.